Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is going to be the review of the grand finals from NLC. So it's us against Lost for Tones. Bit of a disaster series from us, but we'll look at it, see if there's stuff to change, stuff that we would do differently. But also, I just want to give some extra thoughts on it from what we were thinking as we were going through, what we were thinking about the draft, what we were thinking about the games. I think the first half of game one and the second half of game three were really good from us. Other than that, it was very, very strange. It was a weird day for everyone who watched, obviously. There was so many pauses at weird, very unfortunate times and those kind of things. But that's what happens, right? That's how competition is. You just got to be better on the day. It's not about being perfect. It's about dealing with all the stuff that's going on. And we didn't, and they did. So, first drafts. I don't know. I can talk about this more, I guess. We had an idea actually coming into this series that I really wanted to try, and now obviously I want to try it more, but that's hindsight, which was that in a fearless best of five, we have very different champion pools in top lane especially, but also Bowser's second champions in lane swaps are often much, much worse, right? You saw the Quinn last time, but same applies to a bunch of the different champions like Kled and things like that, I think can have really big issues. Whereas Chachi's second tier champions are we can, rather than playing Zac, we can play Ornn, and rather than playing Ornn, we could play Malphite. It drops down very similar. And the other thing that I was thinking is because they had so much more prep time than us, they were scrimming full time and scrimming in the mornings off stream, which I'll come on to in a bit. That also would be a good thing to get everyone off prep. And so we actually spent a lot of time planning what would happen if we just took 5 top lane champions for game one and try and bait as many of their champions out as possible as well and just get rid of all of them. So I can talk about that a little bit more if people want to. Maybe I'll talk about it at the end. But that's one of the things that I really wanted to do just because it'd be weird. And I think this is actually the best case for it. I still think it would be something that teams should consider against them in EMEA Masters, but weird champions, when you can't lane swap on them, are much more safe. The reason we can't take a bunch of stuff, like a bunch of weird carries in top lane at the moment, or during this game, was because you just get swapped on. But I do think as well, Bowser's a little bit more vulnerable without lane swaps, because stuff like Trundle just beats up most of his champs, but you can't take it at the moment because they just swap. So yeah, something to consider, bit of fun. So this is the first draft. This is really interesting for me. So they go for the Cho'Gath as a flex here. Now, we're obviously both pretty predictable in the draft. We knew pretty much everything they were going to play. I'm pretty sure they knew everything we were going to play because all our practice is public. We didn't practice all that much and it was all public. So, of course, they should know everything we're going to take. Now here, it was always going to be a top flex is what we thought was the most common. But even then, when we took the Cho'Gath, because they hadn't played it publicly, we still actually thought it was top lane. So you have this really, there's a few things I think about this draft. I think it's really nice to do this early on in a best of five. If you've got something like this, because what happened after that is every single draft, we said, okay, right, if they take Corki, it's definitely going bot. Wait, it's almost definitely going bot, because technically they might go mid, because Cho'Gath was one of the ones that we thought they didn't flex, and it turns out they do. So doing that kind of cheese early gets you an advantage throughout the rest of the series, and it plays into the fact that they're hiding some scrims, they're practicing much more, which is exactly what you need to do. You need to play up your strengths and play down the opponent's ones. We did think they were going to let us either have Skarner or let us play Ivan into the Skarner in game one. So here, I think this probably should have been the Gnar. I talked about Gnar yesterday, just a sort of safe pick, and it was going to be if they hadn't banned it. But maybe we should have put a little bit more into the flex. The other thing here is that we were deciding between Swain and Victor. I think we also could have been genuinely deciding about Cassio as well. I think that Swain is much better for the comp, but Freddie was feeling much more confident in the Victor. So I think going back, I would still give him the option, but I would have maybe tried to be a bit more convincing with the Swain, because I think the downside of this comp is that you are running huge amounts of magic damage, and if you on Swain just get a Spirit Visage early on, I think it's really difficult to do anything, because the enemy has to come into you. So yeah, it's bad into Ezreal, but the rest of these just can't get through Swain. The other thing that you do is you get rid of 2 of Bowser's best champions. And that's where I think it could have ended up being worse if the game goes to like game 4, game 5. Yeah, so I like that they're trying this early on. I could talk about this. I mean, this Poppy ban, by the way, like we never planned for people to ban Poppy because we would never take it early on anyway, but people still do. I don't need to be shy about that because we say it in scrims all the time, and yet people still ban Poppy against us every game. This for us is just a target ban. And then these were the power bans about the trades. We didn't want to let them vie, especially when they can flex it. And we want to just get rid of a target ban here because we have 2 ADs to trade and the Skarner Ivan to trade. We thought they would probably go for the Ivan because they have not been particularly good on the Skarner. And although we can play both, it feels more like their kind of thing. So we were expecting they to take the Ez here and then play an Ivan draft with it. But the downside of doing this on blue side as opposed to red side, which is where you've normally seen this kind of draft when Skarner was even more OP, is that you can just take Leona on 3, or if they take Leona, you can take Braum on 3, both of which are not so great. So this is a massive curveball, which ends up kind of fucking us. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with this draft. I think this top lane matchup can be a bit rough. But that's mostly just because of the comfort of Bounce on this like AP volley. Yeah, and then we wanted to do these double bans. I think without these 2 champs, Reckless is always going to have a bit of trouble in this game. Let me just ban people. Okay, so let's get into game 1 then. This was the one that was pretty good for a while. Not forever, but for a while. That's the right draft? Yeah. Okay, good. So we didn't really mind about this one. We wanted the 2v2 matchup. Just normal for us. Oh yeah, this was where we were. No one could hear anyone in our team. We couldn't hear. Like if you go to, by the way, in this game, if you want to see how it was, if you go to like Matt's, actually let me find it. If you go to Matt's stream and you find like the important team fight and just listen to it, like that's what people were hearing all game. So that's why there were so many pauses at the beginning. They kept changing one thing and then breaking something else, and eventually they said like just start anyway, even though you can't hear each other. So people had to repeat what I was saying to make sure Freddie could hear it, and I couldn't. No way, I could hear him by the end, I think, but he couldn't hear me. Let me see. But there was just loads of pauses and that kind of stuff. Let me see what it sounds like.
I'll push one more. Take this fast, buddy. Yeah. Okay, you'll fetch though, maybe. I just get this turret. This turret is useless anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, I lost it.
Out there. I can see where combo is. I'm also in time. I can go where combo.
Like, you just can't like get anything. This is what they're hearing in the game. So that's why there was loads of pauses, and I didn't actually see why because we lose flash and get first blooded here, right? Which is obviously a horrible way to start. So I think at this stage we was also still talking about trying to deal with the audio issues. So we come around here and like someone pauses as they run out of the bush. So that's horror. Just really, really sloppy because your mind's elsewhere, like trying to fix random stuff. So big problem. But they don't take anything, right? Yeah. So it's a good short play from them. We still get vision on Ivan though, which is good, so we can see from that like what kind of route he's doing, because of course you do have a bunch of different options, but in a game like this you probably only have a couple, so already we should know exactly where he is, which gives us this window to try and punish the fact that Reckless flashed for the first blood. So the first blood ends up being a trade back, which is good. I think the big thing for me, if I remember in this game, I want to see it again, but like we were in a really good spot, and then at their strongest moment, we made a fight happen. So we lose blue for the gank, but we do take the scuttle. And they don't quite manage to... It's big, but Baus is unlocked in this matchup to just perm the proxy. There's no way to stop this. It's just going to cause so much pressure. And this is the advantage of the flex, right? You end up with a slightly strange draft, maybe, although I like it. Maybe slightly too much magic damage again, but you take away 2 of Baus's champions, but on the flip side, you get this really nice matchup in top lane, which allows him to get into the series, and you also make us worried about hidden stuff. Because last time we played them, nothing was hidden. And now suddenly they've been doing 3 scrims a day hidden, and this is the perfect way to like play into that, take advantage of the fact that we're doing everything publicly and they're not. So it's good. I like it. Whew. That's very close, actually. I thought this was closer at the time, but even closer. I think he just ults him. If he just ults him there instead. Because by the time, yeah, he does get just out of tower range. If he doesn't get out of tower range, this is... And this is the... He does get a return kill though, but like if you'd have got both, obviously, this would be a disaster. This is the thing. Symbiotic boots early, perma roaming all around. And I think we just trade a bit too heavily on the weak side a lot of the time. Because we're getting so much on these kind of plays. So Belly is here to guard the play, but we crash the wave in still. So it costs some time, but gets us something. Now we're trying to get a base off. And Lucas ends up just absolutely huge in this game. Enemy took grubs. Oh, this is so smooth. Yeah, I saw this at the time. I thought it was out. We get a kill top, but that kill in mid means a lot more. They get to crash the wave in as well, whereas... although we do get to crash the wave in top as well, but there's no grubs or anything. So they get the first 2 objectives. But game is still pretty good, I think. And this is their plan, right? Baus just perma trades, and then we use the symbiotic boots to just run up top lane over and over again. And you can't... Like, at the time, it feels bad, like, why are we trading on... But on full HP, you can't... And you get his ult. Like, you can't, like, not trade ever, you know? And we do kill them afterwards. We lose a wave though, it's the same story as always, right? But we're just winning 2v2. And they TP behind. Don't think we actually needed this TP, by the way, from Chachi, but it's always hard to say, like, okay, they're TPing, like, we have to TP. Maybe we do. He doesn't have ult, though, so... And he gets out. But now it's second grubs. We get 2, but they get 1, so they get still the spawn. But still, like, game is in a good spot. I think that the worry is when they have 2 items, but I'm not going to pretend to be an expert playing against Cho'Gath mid with Ivan. I would think that actually it gets better for us later on. And in this like mid-game spike, that's where it's really hard. But that's where we suddenly really try and force stuff. That is one of the big things I didn't like about our kind of attitude coming into this game. We felt like, and a big part of it's on me. Like I think I didn't do a very good job this whole final weekend, but that's a topic for another day. But I just don't think we need to be like worrying. Because yeah, like Cho'Gath can rush and kill Varus instantly later on, but also Cho'Gath dies to anything later on. Nice from Freddy. I'm assuming that's cancelled out by the pause, yeah. So we get the dragon, and we're in a good spot. We take the bot tower, but they teleport behind us. But we take the tower and the wave. We waste cleanse here. Matt talked about this. He wanted to cleanse so that Baus would have to ult, which I think probably is a worthwhile trade, but actually it's always down, so he can't ult anyway. I think you just keep the cleanse. He takes the wave and he takes the tower. But we lose 2 towers. Because we're always playing more for the kills and less for the wave, especially against Lost Ratones, which is really annoying because I think that's the worst team to do that. We get cleanse. We don't have enough to kill here. Remember this. I think we should just get cleanse and then that's fine. Without Varus being here, he's coming, but thanks for following Mitsu. He's coming, but I think it's not quick enough. Because now we made a play to try and get a kill, and now we lose pressure on the map again. And this is the same thing that we do against them a lot. Like we use like 5-10 seconds to do something over and over again, and this is the team that you want to give the least want to give time to. So enemy gets Rift Herald, we play aggressively in their jungle. We're just trading too aggressively though on this side of the map. Like this shouldn't be this really shouldn't be anything. Like we don't need to go forward here. We just wait and play with the wave. So we lose passive and we lose over half HP. So now we die. And we're TPing down. Whereas instead, I think we just play protective on this side. We play weak side because we are weak side. And instead we push up here and we go towards top. But again, like we're resetting while they're making a play, and this happens a bunch. So it's just really sloppy, which costs us a whole tower, and then also it doesn't actually cost us the tower, but it's like we're still strong. But we're just starting to get pulled around the map, and we get more pulled around the map the more we think we're falling behind. So like when you're this fast, every time you run from one lane to another lane and the enemy just follows you, they generate tempo because they just get to the other lane quicker. So we have to make them come to us rather than the other way around. So we lose this full tower just from trading in a silly situation where we don't need to. We get nothing from trading there when we know Rakan is there. Choke everything on Ez, unfortunately. But we still chase them away. We still get Daisy. We trade it for top side though. This was a good time. This was a good time to fight. Like we just have to not miss everything. If anything hits, this is like one shot on Crowny, and then we like win the fight and get the dragon, and also can probably defend top. So you have to play this. You have to play this, and you have to play it like aggressively. We just miss everything. Our only problem was the actual playing League of Legends part. So we defend up top side. And here, like, Cho'Gath just can't really do anything. We don't even need to commit that many resources onto him. I mean, we did. As in, like, we don't need to commit as many resources as we did. Then we clear the wave. And here we just started to get, like, really antsy, and I don't know why. Because for me, this is now the moment where we chill. Like, if you chill now until we... So everyone's got 2 items, they're stronger than us. But when everyone's got 3, Cho'Gath, I think, still just insta-dies. It's what, Riftmaker right third? Is that's the build? He just gets one-shot by the carries that we have. And our front line is stronger than their front line. We get the cleanse, which is nice. So this pick is a bit different because it's outnumbered. But I still think we're just suddenly like really, we feel really scared. So we have a quick window while they're on sides to do something. And we actually do take advantage of it. We also get cleanse, which is nice. We kill Rakan. Great. Now we go back to sides and collect shit. And then just chill. Just chill. But for some reason we're going really aggro here. Okay, maybe not. We just thought he'd based, but had based. Thought he'd backed off. So that cost us mid tower. But we're still, I think, in a fine spot. But for some reason in the game, I remember us being like, oh, can we force Atakan and stuff? Like, we don't need to force a fight to happen right now. It's like, this is all fine. Should just be fine. 3 items each, then it's okay. 4 items each, I think, should be better. Like, yes, okay, Cho'Gath, I know he can like one-shot a carry by just ulting them, but he also has to get past Leona and Skarner and Varus ult. And if he does that and one-shots them, then just fair play to him, you know? Because he also will just get one-tapped by Varus and Skarner damage. But like this fight, I think this is the worst time in the game for us to fight. Let's look at the gold. Like, they have a 2k advantage in top lane. We have a 1k advantage in bot lane. They have half, like 500 in mid. But like, we don't have completed item on Varus, third item. We don't have third item on Victor. And we don't have second item on Camille. Like, this is the worst time for us to be trying to force a fight. And yet we're like, without a numbers advantage, groups up here posturing really aggressively. So like, we use our stuff here, but because only one carry is here. And okay, Reckless tanks that Varus ult really well. So here I think what we're going for is just a one shot on the Cho'Gath. But this whole situation is silly. Posturing aggressively in the river for no reason, in the wrong time for us to fight. The whole situation I don't like. But if this Varus ult hits or this Leona E hits, maybe we do just one shot Cho'Gath. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, and now it's just a disaster. Then they run us over, and now the game is fucking so difficult. It was really good, and then this is the thing that gets me the most. Not about this, well, yes about this, but that a lot of teams, especially in ERLs, do this, but even just in LEC, like, we force situations to happen that aren't good for us. It was us who made this fight happen, and this fight is not good for us. And that, for me, that's like the most silly. You know, there's so many games where it's like you just need a fight and then the enemy engages on you and it's like, well done, we got a fight. No, the enemy gave it to you. It's the reverse here. They needed a fight to happen in this moment, in this like 5-10 minute window, and we were the ones who made it happen. And so now it's much harder than it was. And now we try and kill Cho'Gath. He doesn't get him into the wall. He's not dead. And now it's just a disaster now. Like, we'll just get run over. And now the game is over. So we made like a bunch of sloppy mistakes on weak side. As we always do. But the problem for me was that we just need to not fight in this window. If nothing happens in those 5-10 minutes, then we're chilling. But we were the ones who made it happen. So now we get a pick, but never at any point is this anywhere near that's the game. Okay, simple. That's game one. So game two. This one again was super weird. I'm still quite happy with this draft, I think. I think once you show this, you're so vulnerable to being dove on. We literally had this written down and we're like, they won't do this. It's too bad. It's too weak a 1-2, like it's too vulnerable. But they did. We're talking here about if we're going to ban Braum or not. I think you don't need to ban Braum because you just swap. But the thing that baffled me in this game is we swapped. We got the swap and then we just swapped back and lost the whole game. And I want to see if that's actually what actually happened or what felt like happened. So we have just like a huge amount of dive, including Xerath in the dive, as we've spoken about a bunch. Yes, I know he's ranged, but you just throw Xerath ults on whoever you're going to vial, and either of these people insta-die. Both their carries should just be one shot, and it's impossible to protect them. And I think in this game, we're like 10k down and we still win fights. If we could just get to that state without being 10k down, get to the team fight bit, which you can't. I don't think you could do this draft now, by the way. I'm not even sure you can. Because bot lane's really hard, top lane's really hard. Early on, jungle matchup can be really rough as well, I think. But you can do it because you can swap. I mean, they're comfortable on these champions, but I'd rather I still, just looking at the champs, like I'm still happy with what we have on this side. Like, okay, in the Bulldog game, we got a few drafts that are a little bit one-sided. I don't think you're ever going to come into a series against a team like Lost Returns and get one-sided drafts. However, this is fine, I think. But you can't ban stuff like Viego. You know, it's just not good enough in the meta at the moment to really warrant it. He's good on other shit too, you know. That's stronger in the meta. So this was just target again. We're not actually super worried about the Azir. It's just something that we don't ever play. So probably same as them with the Poppy, right? Like if they need a power ban, they change the Poppy. Jarvan allowed for a possible, like, it's bad into Vi, but it allowed for a possible first pick Ashe if they were going to ban Vi instead of the Poppy. So we thought this was maybe going to be Vi ban here. And then we would take Corki, and if we couldn't get Corki, I can't remember what it shakes out, how that shakes out. But we wanted to open the opportunity for the Ashe as well. Then this, good flex and good into the Vi. Then they insta-go this, which, like I say, I think is a bit strange. And I mean, you talk about comfort, like we've also got huge amounts of people on comfortable champs as well. I think we should ban Braum instead of Janna. I can't remember what the thinking was around that. Or Braum instead of Alistar. Just because I think like early on it is just super obnoxious. And we were discussing it. I just can't remember exactly what we were concluding and why. But yeah, the thing for me is just like you've just got to watch out. Their level 1 is unbelievably strong. And other than that, we're okay. We're okay. So that was the big thing for me. And then we just walked into their level 1 and I just couldn't understand why. So yeah, also it was, you know, not lost because of the discussion around the remake or anything like that, but I take your point for sure. And I think as well, the thing we didn't realize until afterwards, which was so annoying, is there's, I don't know what you call it, a bug or what, but so we don't see here like I want to see it from his point of view. So the thing is, the pause was at quite literally the worst time. So what we thought happened, because someone had seen someone else, that we had the option to remake. But what we thought happened, because Chachi hadn't actually released his slingshot yet, but because of the pause, you could see it. What we thought was that they could see Rel. And so we didn't know that you could see this, because from our point of view, he's still on this side of the wall. So like, well, obviously you can't see me because I'm on this side of the wall. The wall's here. So you can't see me until I fly over the wall. And then, so we thought, okay, he's seen Rel, which means he might well still die because he wouldn't expect Zac to come from the other direction. He's just going to be looking up here and watching for the flash W. Then he gets knocked up, then he gets flash W'd. But anyway, to be honest, the fact that we get a swap when we really want to swap, we don't need the remake. I think that was fine. It took a long time, obviously, and that was a bit frustrating. And they spent half an hour to tell us what we already told them right at the beginning, because of course the players are very experienced. They're like, okay, here's what happens in this situation. They offer us a remake because they've seen someone, and then we can say no. So we're going to say no. And they're like, okay, give us half an hour to check the rules. And then he came back saying, yeah, so what's happened is they're offering you a remake. But like I say, we thought that this was the person who got seen. We thought, you can see in our comms, Eric's like, I think he's seen like my horns. Yeah, I mean, tilt is a strange word. It's kind of a bit of a catch-all. I think it's not tilt in the way we win tilt in terms of poker, but I don't know why. We're just like, so what Matt said after the game is like, we're just a bit dizzy. Like, I just don't know why we made some decisions straight afterwards. Because for me here, you get the flash, great. Now we just lane swap. We know they invade. We invade here. We put some wards down and we swap. But why we swap back, I have no idea. We were literally saying in the comms, like, we can fight them. We can push them out. We definitely can't. Like, we can't, guys. And Lucas was even saying, like, are you sure? Like, we just can't. So we lose a bunch of this stuff in the jungle. We lose all these camps. We get none of the matchups that we want. And there's just the whole game is super hard from now. And we should just invade here, put wards down, play here to here, threaten the dive on the Scion, just like they're going to threaten the dive on the Zac. Both Zac and Scion are ridiculously hard to dive. Scion is easier to dive, but gets the wave for sure. I think both people probably just die. But instead, we get massively slowed down on the Vi. Here was just really annoying. Like, from now, Freddy needs to be like pushing forward this way and trying to leg it over to here as quickly as possible. Because if he's here like 1 second earlier, this is just a kill on Scion. He also just needs to come, like when there's no abilities, like. And then we were trying to sort of wait and give it to him, and then now that's the disaster. So you lose 3/4 of the jungle, and you're killed, and we're not gaining anything in bot lane for it. And this whole this whole game is a disaster. So now they invade the second respawn, and we've got no flash. We can't fight it. We get something with the bot push. So we are able to turn it back, but it's already so hard. The game is still so hard, and like Scion is just going to run over everything. I mean, that's a good sequence to kind of get us back into it, but it's already difficult. And Scion is just going to permanently disrupt the Vi, which just none of this would have happened if he'd just been put out of the game in the swap. Like both top laners just put out of the game, but this time, like. Now he loses the wave. He takes the wave, sorry, loses the wave. Opposite, we lose the wave. We take the grubs on the swap. This is a tragedy. Yeah, so they just play on this wave. Like, this was just a window where someone can come mid. But it's hard to, you know, he's not like he's really vulnerable, like playing really far forward or anything like that, so. And they take the next wave as well. Luckily we didn't get stopped. And now, like, I'm in 2k down already. Like, it's... Yeah, and then this is a disaster. The fact that we lose this 2v2. But he's really high level. And he dodges all the things as well. Like, game is so done. But I still want to look at some of the... I forgot Syndra lived as well. Yeah. Some of the later fights, like, we actually still somehow, like, they look okay. But this is, yeah, it's like, Jesus Christ. This was so bad. And we die up top while he still escapes bot. Like, it's just all, it's just a disaster. Yeah, we're just recalling silly places. Dying over and over. I mean, is it even worth watching this game? Absolute tragedy. We just gave them like a 1.5k gold lead at like 2 minutes just from a decision. And then mechanically played badly. It's like here we're literally 10k down. But like imagine if we were even close to even. Obviously they wouldn't play like that. I'm not saying they would have this fight. I just mean like I think there's still loads of windows for this. There was loads of windows for this like comp. You just have to not. They're super strong level 1. Let's not make shit happen level 1, and instead we do. Yeah. Okay. I'm not even gonna watch the rest of this. It's depressing. Okay, so game 2, disaster. Game 3, let me think the draft. So we wanted to just have a few more tools to like play fights because in the second game, obviously it's in a way kind of easy to put that from your mind. Again, I'm not really happy with my performance over the weekend and should have done a better job helping them with that. But we wanted to just have a bit more like tools to force fights. Is Nocturne gone already? Did we play Nocturne in game 1 or something? Wait, why am I just spacing on that? Oh yeah, no, but like why aren't they going Nocturne Ori? Because I think that's actually quite a good rotation to what we have. But anyway, so it is the Wukong instead. Pantheon can flex at this stage, but we probably wanted it support. So already as soon as they picked Wukong, we knew we wanted the Pantheon to just probably go support. And we take Sedge, and with Alistar banned, there was nothing we were worried about in support. Then Jax on 3, AP Jax. It's always weird, right? Like it's just hard to judge. But I'm still pretty happy with this draft. I think we have a bunch of tools to play the game. Again, you're never going to get like a super one-sided draft or anything like that. I think it's really hard actually to play Janna in a game like this, especially against the Vel'Koz. I think the Cassante is very good here. And this was the one where it started off badly, but then by the end it got into an absolute cinema of a game. Jeez, 45-minute one. Okay. Can't remember what even happens in this one early. It's like when you get those really long games, by the end it's just like, just whatever the beginning was is gone. It started off bad, if I remember. We wanted to basically just be really aggressive. Force a bunch of fights. So top laners dying a bit for XP. Makes the dive very hard on Cassante. Oh, we just fuck up the dive here on Jax, don't we? So the dive is hard, but they do it really well. And then we do it badly. Already I was thinking like, oh my god. So we're invading. Teleporting back. Drift flashes on Reckless. They jump in with the E, like, yeah, we just missed times Aya there. Remember that one. And this is the thing with the Jax, with like, even if it's just a bit of AP, you just jump into the wave and the stacking up your E damage is just so obnoxiously high. Just dying in mid lane always. We literally knew Wukong was there. So yeah, again, at this stage, like the game should be over. The fact that we bring this one back was pretty good. This is exactly what we wanted. We wanted the ability to just force fights, and we wanted just Lucas and Eric to just group up and look for fights, basically. But this is already where you have to start, like, I think I literally approached this draft saying, like, is there anyone who wants something? Like, is anyone just like, okay, I'm really feeling this thing? And so Eric was like, just give me Pantheon, let me fight these guys, and I'll just kill them over and over, type thing. And so we kind of set up the draft with like, okay, well, we have to obviously give it the ability to flex. Because the things that we prepared in terms of trying, like, okay, we want to do the Skarner Ivan trade, we want to do like his dive comp with the Vi. That's the neither of these have worked, and now you're in Fearless, so you can't do them again. Like, you have to just sort of start to go with it. The game is still close, actually. It's closer than I thought it was from the beginning. And we just force fights, all but that misses. And we either wrong way, yeah, I remember that. This kind of comp you have to play. You have to try and play them. Slightly weird doing these reviews, right? Because I'm just sort of watching it because we're not playing again. So this is our last ever game. Didn't know at the time, of course. Where do you feel like the team improved the most over the season? And our decisiveness, I think, and like just being on the same page. I mean, it's a cop-out answer because every team does. But yeah, I think by the end, like we were so much more like on the same page and ready to take advantage in those specific windows. So I said this at the time, like, okay, it turns out we played terribly on stage with all the pauses and all that kind of stuff. But if we were as good as we were at the end and played them in the upper bracket, when we played them in the upper bracket, we would have won for sure. But obviously, they get better too. So I'm not saying anything like that. I just mean the jump between upper bracket final to the end, like we were so much more decisive. The draft we got much better at as well, much clearer on what we wanted to do. And that I do think was the right approach. We just needed to find the balance a little bit differently. Because you can't try and match a team like Lost Returns by doing what they do and like running around the map. But they do give you loads of windows and they give you way too many, they give you loads of things as well with their like super focus on the waves. And so I do think it was the right idea to go for, right, let's be more decisive on the times where we're strong and the times where we're grouped up. And the mistake is not that we're over grouping, the mistake is that we're not getting enough when we're grouped. And I think that we got much better at. But all that kind of stuff like happens anyway, you know. Like if the team plays together without a coach, they get better at that. How near does he die here? If that last tick on that side goes around, he just kills him, doesn't it? Freddie got much. Freddie played really well on this finals weekend as well. I think he was just really good most games. So we TP, and as always, we're losing waves for it. So this time we do get a time to like group up. We miss. Do keep missing everything a lot. So now they've got 3k gold lead. Like this is where like we have to really fight our way back into the game, and we just keep like missing things. I think in the skirmishes. We kill him, but he steals the thing. And then Baus is trying to take this and then ward hop out. But you can't ward hop out because you've got Herald. So he runs to the edge and then he just dies. I think we just run here, don't we? Why are we all in? Anyway. Again, we can't just get something on one side and lose as little as possible on the other side. We have to die on the other side. So now we know we're just playing for like picks. We're playing in skirmishes. We've got the Sejuani Pantheon to like jump on someone. Someone's going to have to collect bot lane. Arrow misses. At this point, I was thinking the game is really kind of done. But they go for Atakan as Freddy smurfs it. So we get to make plays on both sides this time. We get to pick up the Atakan ourselves. Only treats left? Yeah. So far, I mean, nothing's certain. But treats is confirmed to go somewhere else. Keep looking for arrows. Keep looking for just picks. I mean, like, you just... Pantheon just half health someone. And then our front to back should be good, but the Jackson, AP Jackson on flank is terrifying. It's hilariously terrifying. We just jump into the pit. Just flip this? I can't remember. Wait, we want to play for the fight? Look at the like Pantheon damage, by the way. Then they're going to get inhib, if I remember. But we get a bunch more gold. So it's 3 dragons is obviously a problem. Comes back to bite us a bit. This whole thing was really weird. I don't even know like what we're going for here. Like, obviously we're really far behind. So we do have to, in a weird way, just like go for picks and stuff. But having no vision of this area and just waiting here with like Ashe first, really don't like. We don't kill any of them on the back end. We'll lose another inhib. Then as we're chasing back, they kill someone and we go Baron. Yeah, this was a disaster. And here you're sort of just like, yeah, everyone has to just make individual plays. And then we do make some that get us back into the game. But this should just be their game. Like, the fact that we made this close is good, but this should have just been their game as well. It's like, from now we start playing well. Like I said before, the first 20 minutes of the first game, the last 20 minutes of the last game, everything else was a disaster. So we get a pick on Baus. Well, they're already, like, their waves were already going to come in. We didn't really care that much about them getting soul. Like, obviously we don't want them to get it, but if we get a pick and one-shot someone, that's how we have to play the game. So we get cleansed straight away. But we get some picks. And it just goes way too far forward because they're trying to stop backs. We get the dragon. Just fighting, really. Like, it's the only way to come back into this game. We just keep fighting. Oof. Can't remember this fight around the dragon. And the Baron. So they use a bunch of tools there. We've got our inhibs back though. They rush towards this. They get it, but we get a pick. And then we get Bouse as well. Now we get Baron. And we just want to keep him away. We get pick on Ori. Here, I thought we might be able to end the game here. Because we kill him. Bouse is dead, but then Nemesis has TP as well. Get inhib. Then we almost kill Ori, but it does cost the Vel'Koz ult. So we're quite scared and they TP. This is really nice from Freddy. That saves the game. I mean, at this stage now, it's just anyone's game, you know? This was wild. The engage misses. Oof, it's a nice ult try from Matt. Oh, that's a really bad flash. From Matty. So like you flash back towards the Jax and Janna. Like you thought it was Cassante there as well, but like if Matt just flashes down here and doesn't die, that we can end the game with the base TP. And this TP was terrible. But they also start making some hilariously bad decisions because everyone's just like sweating. Like Crownie at one point ults nothing. Bouse TP's mid and then just recalls. Everything misses. That was our one shot. Now Jack's on a big flank. Vel'Koz doesn't quite die though. So everyone just living on like 1 HP all the time. Thought we had to fight it. That gives him this, that gives him that. And that's the end of it. We just couldn't hold both buffs. Almost, but not quite. Okay, well, that was a bit simpler than I was expecting. Again, a bit different when I'm not thinking about what we should do next, what we should do differently. I'm just kind of watching it. And then, yeah, just so game one, I don't know why we're forcing a fight at their strongest timer. Game two, I don't know why we're not, we like lane swapped for I think no reason. And then game three, like we were already quite far behind, but once we brought it back, we were much better. But early on, like we're just dying on 1v1, 2v2, like loads of situations where we shouldn't. So it's a shame not to perform better. I do think I hope they've got a couple of weeks, right, to fix up some things, because I think there's a lot of weaknesses that teams in EMEA Masters can take advantage of, who are a lot more disciplined on the other side from us, so they don't get as much on the other side of the map. But they're such a fun team to watch. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with no lane swaps. I don't know if that makes it worse or better, because Bowser's later champions will be able to lane, because if they're carries, they can't just get swapped on. But then on the other hand, like for example, we would play stuff like Trundle against them, but every time you just lane swap it, or Gwen or something like that. So ups and downs. Not sure how that's going to affect things, but it'll be interesting to see. So fun to see when that starts. But for now, that's the end of the review. That's the end of our last game. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing a Q&A about the split. If anyone wants to come and join that, I'll have a few questions ready. I'm not exactly sure what time, because there's going to be a meeting at some point as well, which I'll need to make sure I'm at. So I think probably it's going to be more like 3 or 4 rather than 2. But I will see you